Hello, this is my video on using manipulatives for reading and writing as well as strategies. I want to start off by introducing all of the manipulatives that I will be using during this lesson. My first one is this erase card. My second manipulative is a clay pencil. I have cookie cutter letters, a magnifying glass, this guide for reading, and sentence strips. Okay, so I want to focus first on demonstrating for writing. So here's my standard. I have it written out, and it is KWF2 from the Arizona State Standards. Demonstrate and apply sound letter concepts when writing. One of my favorite strategies to use when teaching students how to pretty much write and read for both, I like using stop. So what each letter stands for is S stands for stare at the unknown word. T, tell yourself each letter sound. O, open your mouth and say each letter. P, put the letters together to say the word. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how this strategy can be used. Here we go. So I have here bus. I would first start by telling my students the sounds for each letter. This is the letter B, U, S. Each sound is B for bat, U, umbrella, S, snake. And this is where I would use my race card. So I would take each students and tell them to take their race card and start at green and then work themselves to the red light, which means to come to a stop. So the word is bus. B, s, b, s, bus. That is one strategy. Another one is to actually show them and have them hold the letters and construct it this way. B, s, bus. Okay, and now moving on to my reading standard. This one is KRF1. Demonstrate understanding of the organization and basic features of print. So for this one, I would start off by showing the students this sentence structure. So first we're starting off with the word cat. And notice that we are going to teach our students to read from left to right, left to right. And also teaching students to enrich their vocabulary, enrich this word and take it to outer space, for example. So we're gonna start off with cat. This is when I would take my pencil, my clay pencil. Where did it go? Here it is. Here's where I would take my clay pencil and I would guide students with the word cat. The cat. The soft cat. And now you can see that it's going to get a little more complex. The cat is soft. The cat is very soft. So this provides students with a little more structure when it comes to reading. And I wanted to show you how I would use my magnifying glass. So this one can be used with both small books and big books, but I am a huge fan of large books. And I have one to demonstrate. It begins with an A. And no, I didn't buy this because of my name, A, Miss Alvarez. But I bought this because I love big books. And this is where the magnifying glass would come in handy. This is also a great visual for students that struggle reading smaller letters. For example, I would use my clay pencil one more time. You travel in this. It begins with an A. It starts on the ground, then flies up, up, away. And I would also use my magnifying glass here, especially in these words down here that are a little larger text than these ones here. And this is when I would take my magnifying glass and we would go through each sound to demonstrate the understanding and organization of the basic text. For example, what, reading from left to right and identifying each letter using our magnifying glass. I love using this magnifying glass because it enhances each letter for the students, and it's just another great tool to use. Okay, and then I would also use my guide reader here, for example, for regular books like this one. For example, going into 10, 20, 30. Some are old and dirty. Some are clean or in between. 10, 20, 30. So then I would take my little reading guide here, and I love these because it gives the student kind of like a highlighting color, and they can use it for them to help with reading left to right, but also to keep track of what sentence they are at when they are reading. Because I know a lot of students like to use their finger as a guide. Well, this is another great tool to kind of start scaffolding into kind of departing yourself from using your finger and using this as a guide. And next thing you know, students will hopefully be reading without the guide. But I love this tool because of the color that it provides the students, and it is a great guider whenever students read. And then lastly, I would show my students the hat, belt, and shoe line when it comes to reading as well, or in writing. For example, the name Bob, I would show my students this when I would take my pencil, and I would show my students and guide my students through each letter. For example, capital letter, uppercase, stays, it reaches your hat line and it stays before it touches your shoe line. And then the lowercase letters, now these only stay in between your belt line and your shoe line. But then it may get tricky, but it's important to show students that even though it's a lowercase letter, for example, like D or B, it's going to still touch the hat line and the shoe line as well. So I would use these strategies and these manipulatives to continue to teach my students. And I would use my sentence strips whenever it comes to now applying this hat, belt, and shoe line strategy. I would have my students rewrite words or sentences, for example, the ones that get a little more complex. I would have my students then rewrite the more complex sentence, which example, the ending sentence, the cat is very soft. I would have my students then practice their handwriting skills and rewrite them on here. And that is all I have. Thank you very much, and I hope that these manipulatives and strategies for reading and writing could be useful for future students, anyone watching this, and my future students as well. Thank you. Bye.